Yo, it's James here. For this video, I'll be talking about the AFC conference and giving each team 3 words that I think best describe them or their most prevalent storyline heading into this coming season. This is a part 2, and part 1 I did the NFC, which will be linked down below, but without further ado, let's get started on the AFC. AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, great if healthy. The Ravens are full of talent. They have a former MVP in Lamar Jackson at Q, a good young running back in J.K. Dobbins, an elite tight end in Mark Andrews, and a formidable enough defense. The biggest problem for them comes down to whether or not these players can stay healthy. If they can, then this team should be very good, but it all comes down to fortune. If they are unfortunate, then this team may once again be poor. Cincinnati Bengals avoid the hangover. The Bengals shocked everyone last year and made the Super Bowl. While they may have lost that game, it was still an impressive season at the end of the day. And going into this year, they are without a doubt looking to see similar success and avoid falling into the ill-fated Super Bowl hangover that has seemed to plague many teams over the years. Their team is still very good, and while I don't think they will make the bowl again, I don't think they will completely fall off the wagon either and still be a solid playoff team. Cleveland Browns took a gamble. The Cleveland Browns traded for Deshaun Watson this offseason and then immediately gave him a contract for $230 million guaranteed before he's even taken a snap for them. If that isn't a gamble, then I don't know what is. Watson has the top 5 quarterback upside, so it could theoretically pay off on the field, but with his off-the-field issues, a suspension, and the rest that is certain to be there, there's a chance it won't pay off, and if it doesn't, it will go down as another mistake in the Browns' history of making them. Pittsburgh Steelers, a new era. Ben Roethlisberger retired after this past season, and seeing as he was a quarterback in Pittsburgh for the better part of 20 years, it's safe to say this changing of the guard will bring a whole new age to the black and yellow. Now, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky starting the season, the Steelers have never been terrible under coach Mike Tomlin, and I don't believe they will be this year. However, it is undeniable that this transition will be a sight to see, no matter who is under center. AFC West. Los Angeles Chargers finally make it. The Chargers have a generational talent at quarterback, a strong running back, and improved defense. This has to be the season where they finally make the playoffs. They've come up just short in both of Justin Herbert's first 2 seasons, and if they do again, then there's going to be a lot of hot takes and discussions about the franchise going forward and him as a player. This is the make or break point for them. Kansas City Chiefs, still really good. The Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill this offseason, and that's obviously quite a blow to them on offense. However, there's no reason to believe this team won't still be very good. They still have a top 3 quarterback in Mahomes, a top 3 tight end in Kelsey, and with the addition of Juju Smith-Schuster, plus still having an elite head coach in Andy Reid, this team will still be top 6 in 2022 and still a contender in the AFC. Denver Broncos have a quarterback. The Broncos finally have a true QB1 and an undisputed top 10 guy in the league with Russell Wilson. In any other division in the AFC, this team would likely be a frontrunner, but with the sad competition around them, I'm still not sure this will automatically make them contenders or even help them play in the West. It isn't that change for the franchise though, and their first solid Q since Peyton Manning retired in 2015. Las Vegas Raiders, Carr to Adams. The biggest thing the Raiders did this offseason was add Devonta Adams to the team. This gives Derek Carr a true wide receiver 1 for the first time since probably Amari Cooper, and even then, Adams is far better than him. Similar to the Broncos, I think this team is pretty good, but playing in the division they do weighs them down a lot, and as a result, I'm not sure they will be able to contend, though I do think they could have one of the most exciting offenses in the league. AFC East, New England Patriots, Kings no longer. The Pats are still a good team, but it's also pretty clear that the stronghold they've had on their division for the past 20 years is coming to a close. Mac Jones is decent, but he's young and can't possibly fill Tom Brady's shoes yet. On top of that, the competition around them is much more level than years previous. They may sneak into the playoffs again, but they aren't contenders in any way to me. New York Jets on the upswing. Now don't get me wrong, the Jets are going to suck this year, but I don't think they will suck quite as much. Not a playoff team by any means, but I think they can surpass their win total of 4 last year. Not only that, but they drafted incredibly well, and if they do a good job of developing talent, the Jets may legitimately become a solid football team. Also, Zach Wilson is an absolute dog. Buffalo Bills, Super Bowl bound. The Bills are good, very good. They have a top 5 quarterback in the league, a smart play caller, great receiving threats, and a defense that has only improved from last season. They will easily be a top 5 team in the league this year, and to me, are the favorites coming out of the AFC for the Super Bowl. Miami Dolphins, wait and see. The Dolphins are fascinating. They weren't awful last year, but also not great. Their team did improve a lot this offseason with the addition of Tyreek Hill, and if Tua Tagovailoa can actually prove to be a quality quarterback, this team could accomplish a lot. If he flops though, I think the team does as well. AFC South. Houston Texans, still a mess. Texans traded away their franchise quarterback Deshaun Watson this offseason, though to be honest, who could blame them? They got quite a bit of draft capital back for him, which will help going forward, but for the time being, this team is still going to be at or around the bottom of the league this season, with little in terms of weapons on either side, and a not great but not terrible Davis Mills leading the charge on offense. Jacksonville Jaguars, will Lawrence develop? Trevor Lawrence was the most hyped-up quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning, and in his first season, he didn't quite live up to that billing. Though to be fair, it wasn't totally his fault given the circus that the Jaguars were. And if we're honest, Peyton Manning threw 29 interceptions his rookie season, so maybe we should cut Lawrence some slack. Either way, the biggest factor for the Jags this season is to see whether he and their other young talents can develop into the future stars they hope they will be to carry them going forward. Tennessee Titans, will this the future? Now the focus for the Titans is the run game, and it's probably going to be that way for as long as Derrick Henry can still chunk through the competition. That being said, the QB position is very interesting for the Titans right now, because while I think Ryan Tannehill is a very capable starter, it's inevitable that he will be replaced by Malik Willis eventually. It may not happen this year, but down the line it will, and when it does, I think this team could go to a whole new level. Indianapolis Colts, round and round. Since Andrew Luck retired, the Colts have been a carousel of different guys at the quarterback position. The guy this year is Matt Ryan. Ryan is a former MVP and very good player, but in his late 30s and having played behind some mediocre O-lines, I don't see him returning to that 2016 form anytime soon. He'll likely play well, and with a good defense and Jonathan Taylor still on the squad, the Colts will be a good team this season, but they aren't going to make it to the Super Bowl in my opinion, and I think they will still need a long-term answer at quarterback eventually.